Hey everyone, this is Christian Heimel, host of Press Row. Thanks so much for listening to the following broadcast, courtesy of Public House Media.
This is Dr. Mariah White, host of Your Life Matters, here on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you are done with this episode, I hope you'll come check out my show, Your Life Matters, where we talk about dreaming big and dreaming bold to reach your wildest dreams in both your health and your happiness. A new show comes out every single Tuesday. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you'll never miss an episode of Your Life Matters. Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
There is no health without mental health. Your mental health is just as important as your physical health. Welcome. Hello. Welcome to Choose to Rise, where today we're going to be talking about 5 things to improve our mental health. Because your mental health, your physical health, your nutrition, all of those things are intertwined, and you can't have a full well-being unless you're working on all of those areas. Moving your body, fueling your body well, both body and mind. And so today on Choose to Rise, we're going to be talking about those 5 things to improve your mental health. But before we do that, if you want to connect with me more, if you want to learn more about my story, if you want to learn more about Choose to Rise or catch up on previous episodes, you can head over to choosetouriseup.com and connect with me there. And you can also go to Choose to Rise Up on Facebook and follow the journey and just be a part of the whole community going that way. All right, so 5 things to improve your mental health. Like I said before, your mental health is so important. In fact, it can be the most important thing that you do. When you believe that things are possible for you, when you believe that you are worth the effort, when you have the mindset of change and the mindset of good, then that's when you can really go and achieve the goals that you want in life, whether they are of health, whether they're of your job, whether they're of relationships, whatever it might be. You have to believe that it's possible. You have to believe that it's worth it. And so today I want to walk through with you 5 things that you can do to improve your mental health. Okay, so I know that mental health kind of has this stigma around it in our world these days. There is so much less that is done for mental health issues than there is for other issues, and for sure we need to do a better job of that in our country and across the world, and helping more people overcome the stresses that are a part of their life, the negative things that are going on. Like all of these things are building up, and people are just kind of cracking in some sort of ways. I've been there too, but when we can focus our mind on good things, and I'm not saying that every mental health issue can be fixed with these 5 things. What I'm saying is that a lot of the day-to-day stresses and the things that are going on in our typical life can be dealt with some of these things. If you are really struggling mentally, emotionally with certain things, I would for sure go see a doctor and figure out and a therapist and someone that you can go work with. If you're just like stressed out in life and you just feel like I can try these things and change my mindset around, then work on working on the whole experience of your health. Then I would say use these 5 things to work with yourself, and in addition to maybe what you might be going to see, getting help with a therapist or a psychiatrist or a doctor of some sort. So today I want to share with you 5 things that you can do to improve your mental health, because like I said at the beginning, there is no health without mental health. You can't be physically fit and mentally fit and nutritionally fit and all of these things without having the other. So in order to practice good health, you need to be able to work on your mental health as well. So the first thing that you can do is to practice and embrace gratitude. Now, you've heard me say this 100 times over. There are times when I find myself waking up on dark days, or I feel like I'm just not into it, or I'm just, unsure of what's going on, where I can lay in bed and just, not feel happy. But when the days that I wake up with gratitude in my heart, when I push myself to, fight back the other things and be grateful for the things that I have around me, you can't have fear and doubt in the same heart that you have love and hope. And so if you can find gratitude in your day, if you can connect the things that you're grateful for, whether they're little things like a warm bed or that hot cup of coffee or your family that's near you, or to have a job or to have a house, or whatever it might be, food to put in your system. Being grateful and having a habit of gratitude is definitely something that's going to help you be happier in general. Take the time to identify these things every single day so that you can have gratitude in your heart, make it a habit and a practice, and what you focus on, you create more of. So when you're focusing on the good, when you're focusing on the positive, then that's where you're going to be able to move forward in a healthier and more positive direction. The second thing I have for you to do is to forgive. Forgiveness, one of those things that is very difficult for a lot of people, myself included, but falling into, that negative light, falling into those things, forgiveness oftentimes they say is more releasing for you than it is for them. Releasing the things that are of pain, releasing of the things that, you're carrying along inside of you that you don't necessarily need to have. Growing up, I was always comparing myself to other people. I was always telling myself that I wasn't enough, that I felt like I wasn't good enough because of my circumstances or of the situation in my life. But the really only person that was making me feel not enough was myself, was my own mindset. And so when I pushed myself every day to constantly strive for a better, when I pushed myself every day to show up for others and show them that I was worth it, what I was really feeling was failure. And when I beat myself up in a kind of way of like, you just got to keep going, you just got to keep getting better. Now, in some ways that created the grit that I have inside of me. For some ways that, it's a good thing, that the kind of eustress that creates positive change in your life. But, forgiveness is something that I've always kind of struggled with in a little bit of ways, and that I always feel like I'm letting the other person off the hook. But when you really think about it, forgiveness is really letting yourself off the hook. Forgiveness is getting rid of those things that are not necessarily something that is going to keep, it's not something that's going to, it's holding you back more than it's holding them back. That time that we see forgiveness as something we give to others without realizing that it's also something that we need for us in order for us to grow and move on. Forgiveness doesn't mean that we're minimizing the pain or the wrongness or the whatever it was done to you. It simply means that we're now willing to let go and not let their words hurt us anymore. That we're letting go of the things that are holding us back. Number 3 is take time away from digital devices. Now, this may seem a little backwards for someone that's talking to you in a podcast form, but what I'm saying is when you are stressed out to the max, the last thing you need to do is get into a digital device where you're comparing yourself on social media or you're constantly feeding yourself negative emotions or comments or those kinds of things. The other day I was on a post on social media and it looked like a very good thing. Like I wanted to cheer her on in the post. And then I got into the comments and I was like, oh my goodness, people are using profanity and they're name calling and they're doing all these things. And I was like, whoop, getting off of this one right now. This does not need to be a part of my life. So what you feed your mind matters. So if you are watching the news and they're always talking about negativity, if you're reading articles that are always bashing or being negative, if you're surrounding by people that whether digitally or in person, that where you are scrolling on social media and finding negative stuff and distracting you from positive things in your day, get rid of those things. Distance yourself from the things that are putting negative energy into yourself. And when you start to, bury yourself in digital device, you're more than likely, and especially if you're already feeling bad about yourself, you're going to continue to compare, and you're going to kind of continue in a way that's going to make it a negative thing altogether. So I would suggest go outside, take a short walk, admire the sky, smell the flowers, enjoy the people around you, go do something else, read a good book, plug into a good podcast, do something else that's going to distract you from the negative things and redirect your mind to be more positive. The next one is don't be afraid to let it all out. One of the things that as an independent, strong woman, I often think that I have to do it by myself. And one of the biggest mistakes is that I don't like to cry. I think that sometimes I feel like it's a sign of weakness, or that, I could be wrong in something, or that, I'm going to feel bad for, whatever. But I want to just kind of stay away from those emotions. And so one of the biggest mistakes I've ever made is not sharing with other people, not talking about it, not experiencing the release of letting it out of my system. And so one of the biggest mistakes that I've made in my life is just holding it in. And when you can not be afraid to talk with a friend, when you can not be afraid to share me either on social media or with someone that you trust, or, those kinds of things, letting out the negative energy just releases it, just gets it away from you. So don't hide from the pain, just go for it, right? Don't hold it all in, let it go. And if you feel like crying or venting or yelling or punching a pillow, do those things. There's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing. Get the energy out of you so that you can keep moving forward in a good way. And the last one I have for you is be kind, or do some random act of kindness. When you send kindness out into the world, the kindness will come back to you like a boomerang. Kindness is a word constantly here all over the place. Be kind, but it's strongly undervalued. One day when you wake up and you feel like, I just need a little kindness in my world, I would encourage you to go be kind. There's no shortage of kindness in the world. You can use as much of it or as little of it as you want, but I encourage you that if you do use more of it, you will get more of it. When you focus on good, you create more good in the world. And so if you are struggling with feeling good about yourself, or you're feeling negative about the world, go be kind to someone, and it will not only improve your heart and your mind, but it will also improve the heart and minds of other people. So if those 5 little tips and tricks have been helpful for you today, if you're struggling in the negativity zone recently, I want you to, and you're just kind of caught up in that work and busyness of life, I would love for you to get connected to one of these 5 things. Go be kind to someone. It's free. You don't even have to do anything that's going to cost you money. You can just go be kind and do a random act of kindness for someone. You can, let out your negativity, talk to, venting or just looking for solutions, talk to someone, write it out in a journal, do something where you can get out the negative thoughts of your head and letting them go. Take away time from digital devices, get out into nature, get into some physical conversation with people. Make sure that you are forgiving yourself, forgiving others, and letting go of the ball and chain that you're holding onto, and that's just dragging you down and keeping you in the negative space. And practice and embrace gratitude. When you can show up with a grateful heart, there's a lot less room in there for fear and doubt and negativity. And it's like oil and water; they can't be together. And so where one goes in, the other is going to have to go out. So I encourage you to fill your heart, fill your mind with the good things. Get into scripture, get into a good podcast, get into a good book. Fill your heart and mind with good things, and more good things will come out of it. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you liked this show, I encourage you to, get connected, go back to past episodes. You can subscribe to Choose to Rise and on Apple Podcasts and Podbean. Leaving a rating and review helps others find the show, and I love connect to my listeners. So if that includes you, please go ahead and do that. And thank you so much for listening today. I hope it's all worked. And that you have a wonderful and fantastic day going forward. Have a great day, everyone. Talk to you later. Bye.